Okay, in this episode, I want to talk to you about the very important subject of protection. Now, protection is really important for your camera gear, and what I mean by protection is your camera bag and equipment. Now, one of the most common questions I get asked is, what do you do when you're traveling abroad? What do you take with you? What equipment do you use? How do you pack it for traveling on airplanes? Well, this is my bag of choice. This is a fantastic low pro bag. This is a Vertex 300 AW, I think it's called. And it's a backpack style bag, which means I can sling it over my shoulder like so. I kid you not, it weighs an absolute ton with the amount of gear I've got in it, but you're mobile in airports, you've got hands-free for your tripod, other equipment that you might be taking, your normal luggage, etc. And then when you're moving around on location, scouting things out, it's great to have your hands free in case you've got to climb up bits and pieces. So let's take a look at why I use this bag. Well, first of all, it conforms to international airline hand luggage sizes. Only just mind. There's been a few times where I've been questioned or picked up on it, but the actual dimensions of this are within the regulations for international flights, and you can usually get away with it for domestic flights as well. So the reason I want to have a hand luggage bag is because as a professional photographer, I've got thousands of pounds worth of cameras and lenses and equipment that I really don't want to risk going in the hold, or certainly don't want to risk it getting lost in the luggage if I'm going on a photo shoot. So I'd like to have at least my base level kit, the sort of minimal kit that I can work with me contained in one space. So let's see how much stuff I can get inside this bag to take on an airplane, and also some of the features of the bag as well. So first of all, quite importantly these days for digital photography, is I've got this zip pocket which allows me to get my laptop in. So if you're shooting digital or you're shooting tethered, I can keep the laptop, I can work on a plane, I can do some work on the laptop. This is a 17-inch MacBook Pro, or whatever they're called, fits into that bag. So that's one thing that I can fit in that outside pocket. Then if we move into the main part of the bag, we've got these lovely, nice sealed zips for protection from the elements and the weather. Actually, before I undo that, let's talk about that elements and protection from the weather. Because one of the great things with this bag is that it's got some rain cover protection, which is stored away inside here. And this allows you to fold. Oh, actually, no, this one is for keeping the straps all tucked away and secure. Because quite often, if you did have to check this in and it had to go through the luggage conveyor belt things, all these things can get tangled up. So this is a great idea. You've got a little zip flap that goes over that and secures all that away, so none of that will get tangled up in transit. So that tucks into the bottom of the bag, and then on this side here, inside, is another cover that comes out. Let me just put that one back in there, and then turn that over, and then on this side, I've got a complete waterproof wraparound cover to go over the outside of the bag, which if you get caught out in the rain, you're working outdoors, you've got some extra protection, even from sea spray, the elements, etc. So, fantastic. To be honest, never even used it, all right? Been caught out in the rain several times with this bag, never even used it. This bag offers fantastic all-round weather protection, regardless of using the rain cover. I found that just having, if I can get this thing open again, just having the zips done up with the weatherproof seals on the zips is plenty enough to protect it from the odd shower. Okay, so that's the outside features. A couple of other things to mention are a couple of these things they call glide locks, where you can hang some accessories. You can put like a tripod or a monopod slid down in there, one of the legs, and hook it into one of these corner accessories. Same on the other side. You've also got another one on the outside. I don't really use those. I use these massive, big heavy tripods that are just too big and heavy for this, but maybe some of the smaller tripods like the Neotech Manfrotto, some of those you'll be able to clip on there, but again, I don't really bother with those. So let's take a look on the inside. Let's open it up. Flip that open. Wow, look at that. I can tell you, I've got an awful amount of kit packed into that small space. Works really well for me. Let's have a look at what I've managed to fit in this bag. Now, all the compartments in this bag, all the divisions, you can create yourself, set them, they're all Velcro, stick together stuff. You can decide how you're going to lay it out. It's worth spending a little bit of time figuring out your best layout that suits your purpose the best. And I've already configured this out how I like to use it. And that is for a 2-camera setup. I generally have 2 camera bodies that I'm working with, quite often with a wide-angle lens on one and a telephoto on another. And then I can just switch between cameras if I want to shoot where I don't really have the time to keep changing lenses. So I'm going to take all of this stuff out and give you an exact run-through of what I've got in here. So I've got a 70-200 2.8 lens. I've got a 15mm fisheye lens in there as well. 2x converter, which I use for the 70-200. I've got a beautiful 24mm 1.4 lens, which I use for low light work. Fantastic, lovely wide angle lens. 50mm 1.2 lens. Now with the lens hoods that go on reverse, saves you a bit of space. Great thing about those as well, they offer a little bit of extra protection and cushioning around the lens. So that's a 50mm lens. I've got my dedicated macro lens. Then I've got a 5D Mark II. And on the 5D Mark II, that's with the additional motor drive point with a 16-35mm wide angle lens. Remember, that's a full frame sensor. So if you're using crop sensors, these lenses are different to what you might be used to. And then I've got an EOS 1DS Mark III with an 85mm 1.2. And that really forms my base set of travel kit for an assignment as a set of lenses that covers me for most of the focal ranges from super wide fisheye through to wide angle, super wide angle, short telephoto, and then up to super telephoto when I use the doubler with the 70-200. I even managed to fit a flash gun in there, some spare batteries, flash extension cables, my camera straps from my neoprene camera straps, and my important filter set here. I've got a whole array of filters going on in here. My ND filters, grad filters, polarizing filters, lots and lots of different filters that I use. Well, those are the main filters I use, but I've got several different versions of them. I've got hard grads, soft grads, different strength ND filters, different types of polarizers, all contained in one pack. I've got my filter holders and then my filter adapter rings to allow me to put those filters on different lenses. Tripod base plate in there as well. So that's pretty much all of that bag empty now. On the inside, I've got my Canon Pro members card, a few other bits and pieces. And then on the outside, on this side, there's a couple of external pockets that work really well. One of those I've got a cable release in. I've got another cable release for the other camera. These I use obviously to remote the shutter, but also use them for when we create time-lapse sequences because you can program those to take pictures at certain intervals, business cards, all the usual stuff. Plenty of room in that zip pocket where the laptop went to be able to stick your flight tickets and bits and pieces as well. And then finally on this pocket, memory cards. Got to take the pictures, got to record them onto something. So you've got memory cards, you've got separated pockets for the memory cards. And there's this other section down here, which is supposed to be filters. And that's my only bugbear with this bag, actually, which is a real shame, is that these filter holders are too narrow for the type of filters I use. Well, I use the 100mm wide slide-in filters, and they don't fit in there. So if you're listening low pro, because you should be listening, this is a fantastic bag, but you need to make that pocket wider. Anyway, so I can get all that on the plane. It's all safe. I know it's all there. I've got my cameras all with me. However, as a commercial photographer and with a lot of the filming we do for our DVDs and our programs and our training courses, this just isn't enough equipment. We've got lighting, we've got filming cameras, we've got tripods. In actual fact, we normally have to take all that lot, and that is a real pain. Now, when you've got to take that much stuff, you've got to have hard cases, because if you're putting stuff on aircraft, valuable lighting equipment, valuable video recording equipment, it's got to be protected in something solid. This one, interestingly, is actually luggage safe size. It's got the roller wheels, you can wheel it around in airports. Sometimes use that one. Bigger stuff, bigger flight cases, padlock them all up. Everything's stored in there, and these are really solid, really durable. They can take a bashing. They're meant to be waterproof as well. So for commercial purposes, that's the sort of stuff you need. But if you're traveling with just a base set of kit, I can thoroughly recommend the Low Pro bags, and they do several different models. I think they've got a couple of models smaller than this and possibly even a model bigger, but the model bigger probably wouldn't be within airline regulation size. So I hope that answers the questions that many of you have asked over and over about what is the kit and how I pack it. There you go. There you can see it.